Hey, as a coach who is very aware of, what a championship team looks like and the ebbs and flows of a season at just this juncture, I think 13 games left, where do you see your guys at? Are you guys in a good spot right now, you think, in, where you want it to be at this juncture in the season?
I think we're in a good spot in that, we've won 4 in a row, so we're back, feeling good about things. We got Draymond back. We're trending in the right direction health-wise, but we have to take advantage of these 13 games to clean up the stuff that needs to be cleaned up. If we don't do that, then I won't like the position we're in going into the playoffs. We're not ready yet for the playoffs. Last night was a perfect example. We had multiple errors, especially defensively, transition, giving up offensive boards, giving up back cuts. We can't get away with those things and expect to win in the playoffs. So I feel good about where we are overall, but these last 13 games are really important execution-wise for our guys to understand the areas we've got to get solid with.
What has Andre provided for the team lately, even though he hasn't played in quite some time?
Basically, another coach. He's but a more effective one than any of us can provide, because he's right with them in the locker room and he's got their respect, and everything that he says from a firsthand basis. When he says, "Hey, when you guard Kyle Kuzma," the guys know Andre has just done it for the last few years. So he's been phenomenal as a mentor, as a coach, as a guy who knows what it takes to win at the highest level and is demanding those things from his teammates.
Last night, Draymond said that Jonathan Kuminga is still attending screen school. So he's figuring out the angles that he can easily dive and dunk if he sets a good screen. What do you think JK can continue to unlock if he sets good screens?
Well, exactly what you just mentioned. If he's so powerful and athletic that if he sets a good screen and rolls, then he's going to get some layups, some dunks, or he'll pull the defense in from the weak side, which will open up a three-point shot behind him. His screening can also get better just on the ball and to free up Steph and Jordan and Clay, our ball handlers, Wiggs. And that's just one area. JK is so young. He's got so much to learn. He's got so much potential. But it's not just screening school. It's help side defense school and boxing out school. But that's the whole point when you're a rookie, especially one with very little experience. There's a ton to learn, but JK's doing a good job of absorbing all that.
Do you like when players run the schools, so to speak, when players teach players in that experience?
Yeah, I think it's the only way you can really do it effectively. If you have a team full of young guys, it's hard for young guys to listen to other young guys. They need to listen to vets. They need to listen to guys who have been there before. So I like the roster construction that we have. We've got a lot of built-in mentors.
Going back to Jason's question about liking where you are now, but there's still a lot of work before the playoffs. I mean, how much you mentioned health. You've yet to play with the 100% healthy team. It's either been Draymond or Clay or Andrew or Andre or Gary. I mean, how much is that a factor that you want to see that cohesive full group, and like how much does that play into preparing for the playoffs, if that makes sense?
Well, I mean, you'd like everybody to be healthy and for a number of games, but you just can't count on anything like that. So you just do what you can each day and hope that before long everybody's healthy, and then you have everyone at your disposal game to game, and you can start to do what you do in the playoffs, which is pick matchups, pick lineups that you think will work against that particular team and go from there. But we have a number of guys on our roster who can conceivably play a big role against one opponent maybe not play at all against another opponent. And that's been a hallmark here. Guys like, JaVale McGee or Nick Young or Patrick McCaw, David West, guys who, came in and played huge minutes in crucial games and then maybe didn't play as much. Zaza's another good example. But that's what it takes come playoff time. Everybody's got to be all in and willing to accept the games where things don't go their way and prepare for the games where their number is called.
How does Draymond's return help this team specifically in terms of interior defense? And did you see any difference with him out there last night compared to in previous games in that area?
Compared to previous games without him?
Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah. He's the best defender in the league. He's one of the greatest defenders of all time. There's an immediate difference when Draymond steps on the floor in terms of communication, physicality, rotations, accountability, all that stuff. You can feel it. You can see his presence. You can feel his presence. So we are thrilled to get him back. And when you have Loon and Draymond behind the play communicating, it kind of organizes your defense and gets everybody in the right spot. So it's exciting to have him back.
One of the unintended benefits of Draymond to create the development of Jonathan Kuminga. What do you think maybe would happen this season had Draymond didn't help there for those 13?
Yeah, JK would not have played as much with Draymond healthy. So, there's always a silver lining. And that would be the case here. JK's gotten a lot of experience. He's grown a lot. These have been important minutes for him, and we're going to need him in the playoffs. And all this experience will definitely pay off for him and for us.
Is there a timeline for Andre getting back on the court for game action?
No.
Both Draymond and Clay last night said, we want to win a championship. We will win a championship, almost like a declaration. Is this a tricky time of year where our players' thoughts already in the postseason and the excitement for that when you still have 13 games left? Like, where do you think, what's this time of year like emotionally when you know what your goal is for the end of the year, but you're still at this point in the regular season?
I always equate it to, a horse turning back towards the barn. You ride a horse and you go away from the barn. And I've actually ridden a horse a couple times, believe it or not. You're going away from the barn and they're kind of slogging through it. As soon as you turn around, they know they're going home. It's like they pick up the pace, and that's where our guys are right now. They're picking up the pace. They sense the finish line. They sense the playoffs coming, and so there's a little bounce in their step. And we're past the dog days. We're entering we've been in the stretch run now the last week or so, and got a little momentum back as you're feeling good. But as I said, we have to take advantage of the time that we have between now and the first game of the playoffs. We've got to get better.
Horses and dogs, both are the same. Are you getting cats anywhere?
What was the
dog days?
The dog days, yeah. Yeah. I've got a joke that I'm not going to say out of respect for you, or Raymond. He deserves it, though, if you think about it.
I see we got a couple on Zoom. Anthony Slater, go ahead.
Yeah, will you get anyone back tomorrow that you didn't have? Wiggins, Peyton, anybody?
Maybe Wiggs. Wiggs did not practice today, but he's questionable for tomorrow. He's feeling a little bit better, and hopefully he'll feel well enough to play tomorrow.
No Peyton, no Iguodala, no Wiseman, I assume, right?
No.
Okay, and then the other one, do you think your increased usage playing the, 3-guard lineup pool play, Steph, can potentially make defenses change the way they have to play Steph for chunks of the game?
Yeah, I think that's the whole point. Starting Jordan against Milwaukee, that was the whole idea. We just knowing the way Milwaukee has guarded us in the past and guarded Steph specifically, we felt like we had to get another playmaker out on the floor in Jordan, and he had a great game and did a hell of a job. And with Clay back, I think we're going to see more and more defenses that kind of junk it up. Top block Steph, top block Clay. You think about how Memphis, guarded us in the play-in game last year. There's a style of defense that we've seen enough where we know teams are going to try to take away some of our pet actions and some of Steph and Clay's openings on the perimeter. So when they do, if Jordan's out there with them, we've got another guy who can break the defense down, get to the rim, get us easy shots.
All right, two more. Jerry McDonald, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm curious between when you first moved into the building and the team was injured, and then the pandemic hit. Now you've got one of the best home records in the league, and a lot of electricity, and beating the Bucks, and then Draymond coming back last night. Is this building becoming what Oracle was in your mind as a home court?
I don't think you ever can compare arenas. We feel like we have a great home court here. The combination of our fans' energy and the fact that we've got a healthy roster and a team playing at a high level, that creates a really good home court advantage. We've always had great fans in this franchise's history, but to compare, the two arenas, they're just different based on when they were built, the noise level. There's a different feeling in each one, but this one is becoming more and more our home, and I think our fans feel it, our players feel it. We feel great every night when we run out onto the court here at Chase.
I had a question off topic. I'm curious to whether you've had much interaction with Randy Bennett over the years, and if you have any thoughts on what he's put together at St. Mary's over the last 21 years.
Yeah, Randy and I know each other a little bit. We have kept in touch a little bit over the years. We've got a San Diego connection. I've seen him down there a couple of times in the summer. I have great respect for Randy and the job he's done. He's a hell of a coach, and he's built a really successful program at St. Mary's. He's very close with Mike Brown. So there's a Bay Area connection, and but he's busy with his team, and I'm busy with mine, and so we don't cross paths very often. But there's definitely a mutual respect.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. All right, last one for Christos. Go ahead.
Hello, Coach. Hope you're doing well. In the last 4 games, what did you like most about the way that you play, especially since the win against the Nuggets in Denver? What did you like most, and is this the real way that you would like to play in the playoffs with Draymond, of course, on the floor?
Yeah, I think the best part of our last 4 games has been our offense. Our defense is still a work in progress. I thought we were really good defensively against the Clippers. Not as good against Denver or last night against Washington. Milwaukee was pretty solid. But throughout those 4 games, our offense has really clicked. I think over the last 10 or 12 games, we're number 1 in the league in offensive efficiency. So we've done well on that side of the ball. But in order for this team to really click, we have to be a great two-way team, and our defense overall has not been great. So that's a big part of the focus here the last 13 games is cleaning up our defense.
Perfect, thank you.
Thanks.